Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Tyrocco here. Today, at the time of you watching this video, I'll probably be at or leaving the St. Louis Zoo. We're going on a little mini vacation, which I'm looking forward to, very excited for. I'm doing some camping. We're gonna go visit the aquarium, St. Louis Zoo, maybe some other stuff. Hopefully we don't get rained out, but it's hopefully gonna be a good time. So while I'm gonna be there doing that, I wanted to give you guys this video. So today, we're going to be taking a look at doing an account review / coaching session for Juby. If you would like to have an account takeover done on your account as well, then go ahead and click the link down below, fill out whatever account service you're interested in having. Once you get that form filled out, I'll get in contact with you and we can figure out the next steps from there. But as far as what's going on, first thing I want to show is a quick overview of this account review sheet. This is basically just like a snapshot of where his account currently is. But there's a few things I want to point out. 81 6-star champions, 63 legendaries. The dungeon times are here, which are not super accurate. He actually told me most of the dungeons he's farming have like an 80% success rate. That's not good. I want at the very least, 95% success rate. But honestly, shoot for 98%. Most of the time, 98% plus is really what you want to be going for. 80%, you're just wasting way too much stuff. Faction War farming, he's not farming Faction Wars. We're still working on Lydia. We have the fastest possible champion on his account is 298. So obviously we either need to do more dragon farming or we need to upgrade some gear, which I'm going to show you the gear in just a minute. And there's some big problems there, which I'll discuss once we get there. Great Hall, level 69. It's a funny number, but more levels there is going to be great. That just comes in time. Clan Boss, it's looking good. 2 key Ultra Nightmare, 1 key Nightmare, 1 key Brutal. We got a few things in Doom Tower. Basically, this is just for him to say, okay, this is where my account's at. These are some tips and everything. This isn't relevant to him because he's not really progressed far enough into Doom Tower to worry about the boss farming just yet. But now let's jump over to the gear. This is probably one of the most telling parts of any account takeover. So this says, okay, we have 1,000 equipped artifacts, 1,200 unequipped artifacts, 85 are rank 4. Those should all be sold. 1,200 are rank 5. I'd say probably, without even looking at it, 85% of those should be sold. Now, once you get Lydia, that's definitely going to be true. 85% should be sold. But before Lydia, you may not need to go as hard on your gear because you still have tons of champions who you're really not going to use past Faction Wars that need to be built. Rank 6, I like that. But really, eventually, you want to start seeing these numbers switched and then this rank 5 number becoming like 200 pieces, 100 pieces. Very, very select few pieces. The accessories, very similar situation. We have 354 equipped, 650 unequipped, 2 rank 3, sell them both. 39 rank 4, sell them all. 619 rank 5. I would like to see that number start to come down. Rank 6 start to go up and be in a very solid spot there. Dungeon priority. I want to talk about that with all of y'all real quick. I don't want to go through too much of this breakdown with you all because while Juby wanted me to make this video because it could help some of you all out as well, I also want to make sure that it stays relevant to everybody while also helping him out. So I don't want to go too much just in his alone. I'll message him outside this video. But as far as the dungeon priority, we're going to go ahead and skip campaign because campaign, I mean, that doesn't matter, okay? He's already doing everything campaign. We don't need to worry about that. Campaign is fine. I want to talk about dungeon priority. So if you've ever wondered, where should I be farming? As far as Ice Golem, Spider, Dragon, Fire Knight. Spider should always be farmed. Spider is incredible. Get to stage 10 hard as quickly as possible. Do it. Spider's Den, you're getting accessories. You're getting tons of silver for everything you sell. It's really just a place you should always be farming. But as far as Ice Golem, Dragon, and Fire Knight, my opinions, Dragon, Fire Knight, Ice Golem before Lydia. But once you get Lydia, it goes Fire Knight, Ice Golem, Dragon. The reason why I believe Dragon gets so devalued after you get Lydia, specifically once you're farming the high stages of Faction Wars, is because you're able to farm perception gear. Now, I'm not saying by no means don't farm Dragon. Like during the 3x speed drops, do it. Do a ton of Dragon during that time because now you're getting the speed gear, which is probably the only reason why you're farming Dragon. Because outside the Toxic set, most of these sets aren't used that much. You can make an argument for Stalwart, but accuracy is way outweighed by perception. Speed is the only one that you're most likely going to be farming hard for. And if you're really just doing that one, just do it when there's 3x speed drops. In general, just do it for events, fusions, whatever's going on. But honestly, once you get Lydia, once you're farming Faction Wars, perception is just so good. Dragon gets very devalued in my opinion. Ice Golem comes up because after you've gotten Lydia, you're transitioning into the later part of the game. This is where the sets that Ice Golem drop become so much more valuable, because now you've already shown that, hey, your champions can be built to a point where you can finish faction war. So you have plenty of decent gear. Now you need really good gear and different sets and starting to mix up different strategies. So Provoke opens up a lot of different strategies for Hydra in different areas. Cursed is an interesting set. I haven't used it that much, to be honest, but Reflex and Retaliation are both very solid sets, especially when it comes to dungeon speedrunning, Clan Boss, Hydra, all those different areas. Both these sets can definitely find some use. Ice Golem is like, in my opinion, almost the PvE equivalent of what Fire Knight is for PvP. Granted, I say that, and Fire Knight is still one of the best dungeons to farm. Savage, a mate needed for your nukers. Stun set, so much use. Regeneration, if you watch my channel, which you're watching this video right now, you'll know Regeneration. I'm a huge fan of it because that allows your champions to do solo and duo content. Regeneration, excellent. Crit damage, awesome 2-piece set. Shield set, great for Seer speedruns because she strips the shields. Immunity is also very nice, also for Seer speedruns as well. If you already have somebody in shield, throw a Renegade in immunity, and now you have an extra buff to strip. Curing and Fury, well, we're not going to talk about those because, yeah, even with the buffs, Fury, very, very niche, okay? Fury is good, niche uses. Curing, even more niche, but still not terrible. I don't want to get the Curing fan club in the comment section roasting me about Curing. But Spider's Den, you always want to be farming that. Now, before we start going into all the different areas and talking about his account in general, I want to answer his specific questions. So this is kind of what we're going to be focusing on today. So number one, he says this was his goal. Okay, so 25s, maybe hard mode dungeons. Let's take a look at a few of these. Ice Golem is difficult. Ice Golem is difficult to get a stage. Hard mode, I mean, it's just difficult in general because of the RNG involved. The Ice Golem does the big slam. Your day is ruined. GG's. However, he has RTAC. RTAC is incredible. If you can do stage 1 of hard mode, it's better than stage 25. It's better than stage 24. So stage 1 is going to be where you'd want to go if you have a hard time. I mean, like, assuming you can do it, right? You want to do it at a high consistency. Let's go ahead and take a look at this, okay? So Ice Golem, with Ice Golem, HP burns are going to be massive. Specifically, HP burns on RTAC with no War Master. So if his RTAC has War Master, it could be a sticky situation. He does have War Master, so we could be facing some slams here. However, let's go ahead and adjust the team real quick. So Haikatoon, she could be used, but honestly, I think there's better options. I do like Stagnite. Haikatoon, drop her. Reliquary Tender, drop her. And Ragash may get used, but we have a champion in here. I'm pretty sure right here, Elva. Elva is an amazing champion. Incredible. Her build, not so much. I'm going to talk about that in just a second. But Elva, she brings increased speed, res, some heals. Very, very good champion for Ice Golem. So there we go. We won't even set the presets. Stagnite, incredible champion as well. This build is actually very good. I like this a lot. Fast, good accuracy. RTAC, we need to work on the speed just a little bit. He needs to be like 200 plus. His accuracy is not good. We need to adjust that for sure. As far as what champions we can bring in alongside these. So this will be Ice Golem hard 1. I'm just going to theory craft this team, but hopefully it can give him some ideas. But as far as this goes, we have the HP burn. We have the activations. Honestly, getting rid of War Master could be decent as far as making the run go smoother, but you want War Master for Hydra. So as long as your Elva is tanky, whether it's Defiant, Stalwart, whatever, she should be perfectly fine. So as far as the next champions in this team, honestly, having Ragash wouldn't be terrible for the wave control. Having Mithrala, if she was built better, would actually be very solid as well. Mithrala is an excellent champion. However, she's slow, but we can fix that. We can mention it to him and he can get it fixed. So next up, we're looking for some better wave clearing, but you got to be careful because you don't want to bring somebody who's going to clear the waves fast and then make the Ice Golem proc his slam by doing big damage to him as well. So let's look through some of these champions. Michinaki, not a bad option. I know he's built for Hydra or something. So he brings decreased attack, which is excellent to have on the Ice Golem itself. He brings an HP burn. Yeah, I mean, overall, Michinaki, pretty solid champion for this. Can do good damage on the waves. Honestly, this team right here, I'm pretty confident that it can clear Ice Golem hard 1. Now, as far as the champions builds go, I would say for Elva, push her to 230 plus. Get her to be fast. Get her HP to be very high. Matter of fact, I may look at rebuilding her, but possibly. We'll see how Tom looks. So I would say 230 plus, make her fast. She's going to be excellent. Very high HP, Stalwart or Defiant if you can do it. Makes that slam a lot less threatening. And then next up, everything's fully booked. So yeah, she's an amazing champion. Next up, we have Mithrala. Make her, once again, honestly, 250 plus. Make her super fast, very high HP, accuracy. Make it high. Make her resistance high as well for the arena. But to be honest, people, I think, sometimes get too focused on making her accuracy and resistance combo crazy high, when in reality, she's great for a lot of things outside of arena. And if you're building her for dungeons, she doesn't need crazy high accuracy or resistance. So shooting for like 300 accuracy and like 200 resistance, you're going to be fine for all the PvE stuff and then most of the PvP stuff, depending on what level you're at. But get her, honestly, I don't think any of these champions in this team should be under 200 speed. 200 speed minimum, shooting for 50,000 HP on whatever champions you can, 3,000 defense, and you're going to be solid. Now, Michinaki's build, I do like that a lot. So this team right here, Ice Golem hard 1, rebuild those champions, and you're going to be excellent. Honestly, it may even be able to push to hard mode 5, which I'd probably stop there because past that, you get some funky stuff with the slams, and it's just a weird situation. So our Ice Golem hard 5, I'd say, is the goal for this account, and I don't think it's far out of the equation whatsoever. We got the champions, we got the gear, we just got to put the gear on the champions. So next up, let's go visit Dragon's Lair. So Dragon's Lair, he said he was doing stage 25. Stage 25, we don't do that no more, okay? We want to do stage 6. Honestly, 6 hard. I don't think that's difficult whatsoever for this account. Possibly even stage, let's see what damage dealers he has. Who's going to do the best as far as damage? I did build a Fire Knight team down here, Fire Knight stage 25. But as far as Dragon, let's see. Honestly, a Kimptum is very good. I saw a Kimptum earlier. A Kimptum is incredible. Throw this champion in a stun set. A2, hexing everybody, plus placing stuns, tons of poisons, excellent for the dragon. A Kimptum, definitely a champion who should be brought. Mithrala, she's being used in the other team. This is something that players need to really focus on, okay? Champions like Mithrala, champions like Lydia, champions who are being used in different areas of the game, try to fit them into other areas if you can. I mean, Mithrala is going to be built very well for Ice Golem, so bring her over into Dragon. There's no reason not to, right? And then she's going to be used in Hydra as well. So Mithrala is an extremely valuable champion. If we had Lydia, it'd be a very similar situation. She's going to be used in maybe Ice Golem, maybe Dragon, but then definitely in Hydra. So get as much use out of these champions as you can, and you find yourself having to build far less champions, but getting far better results on your account. Because now instead of your gear being separated over 20 different champions, it's separated over like 10. Now obviously it's not actually 10, but just an example. So next up, we need some more poison, but Stagnite. He's being used in that other area. Let's go ahead and throw him in here. I mean, he brings in excellent stuff. He brings in the decreased defense, the decreased attack, makes us kill the waves faster, and makes them do less damage to us. A Kimptum's going to be there for some crowd control. Mithrala plus a Kimptum, good poisons on the actual dragon itself. Now, as far as we need some more wave control. More wave control is going to be great. We could bring in some seer action if we want faster wave control for sure. Elva, she probably is going to kind of slow it down, but she could actually do good because she does increase speed. So honestly, she could be perfectly fine as well. Grazer Iron Gut, he can do really good. I'm just debating on if he's going to be... Actually, yeah, he actually could probably be perfectly fine. Increased defense. He has a provoke. AoE provoke. Yeah, actually, let's go ahead and throw him in there because he's going to be built for Hydra. He needs to be built very well. So I don't see any reason why it would be bad to bring him in, honestly. He's going to do good against the dragon. He does max HP stuff. Brings excellent buffs as well. So yeah, why not? Bring in Grazer Iron Guts. Like I said, he's going to be using Hydra and going to be using a lot of really good gear. So bring him in to your dragon team as well. Now let's see if we can get any more poisons, because poisons are going to be what really kill this dragon very quickly. Champions like Dark Kale. Dark Kale's fantastic. If he had Dark Kale, we'd bring him. Don't really need Artak. Artak is good, but not really great for Hydra, to be honest. We have any champions with Brimstone? Brimstone's a great thing to bring along. We have Michinaki. Michinaki can bring in some nice wave control, as wave killing. Honestly, why not? I mean, it doesn't bring poison. We have 2 poison champions there. We have decreased attack with Michinaki, decreased attack with Stagnite. Honestly, this is probably a pretty good team as well. Is it going to be the fastest team in the world? No, I doubt it. But it's going to be a very consistent team. Actually, speaking of consistency, I would want to see how this team performed. We have a lot of sustain. I like to bring in res champions, but if I can go without bringing the res champion in, if I have plenty of sustain, I'll do that a lot of times. So We have a ton of survivability with Mithrala, with Grazer Iron Gut, with the decreased attacks coming out, all that kind of stuff. However, if this run was to fail, I would say drop Michinaki, throw in Elva, throw in a res champion, and the team would probably do very solid. And this is just first initial thoughts. This isn't like speed tuning in depth. But what I would do with this team is Dragon Hard 6. I think it's what it is. Actually, we have Spirit Affinity. It could probably go a little bit further as well, honestly. We'll say Dragon Hard 6, but it can probably go up to these higher stages as well, honestly, because a lot of our damage is coming from Void Affinity champions who don't care what affinity the enemy is. So as far as these champions builds go, I would say a Kimptum and something like Stun Set. Make him fast, 200 plus, good accuracy. Minimum 200 plus, HP, push it high. Defense, get it high, but don't go crazy because you have increased defense from 2 champions, so you're okay there. Mithrala, make her fast. Make her very, very good. 250, 260, 270. Make her built well. She's going to be used in so many different areas for you. Build her. Use some of your best gear for her. She's definitely going to be worth it. Stagnite, I like the build already. Excellent. Grazer, make him in Relentless because he's going to be using Relentless in Hydra. So Relentless, ideally 200 plus speed. Use your best Relentless on him, assuming you're not taking gear from other Hydra or Clan Boss important champions. Make him have good accuracy because he has a Provoke. Excellent for Hydra. So good. It's going to be difficult to build him for this, but good accuracy, great speed, Relentless. Defense, get it stacked on him. He does do increased defense, but make sure he's survivable. So it might be difficult to hit, but I got confidence. Relentless plus Perception, you're going to be solid. Michinaki, make him the same. Make him as he is. He's perfectly fine. So there you go, Dragon Hard 6. And then we have Fire Knight. So Fire Knight, let's go ahead and talk about this real quick. I'm going to show you guys the team I have set up for him. This team right here. So Fire Knight, Royal Guard, Seer, Stagnite, Archmage, and Allure. So Allure is reducing turn meter. Royal Guard is placing the sleep, so make sure, not sleep, placing the decreased speed. Make sure he has good accuracy, which he does. Seer is clearing the wave, so make sure she can do good damage. Stagnite is placing decreased defense. Make sure he goes before Seer. Archmage is making sure the wave 2 stays stunned. So make sure Archmage is going pretty fast, can place the stun, has good accuracy. Give him 100% crit rate because he needs it. And then you're going to be pretty good. You're killing the waves, get into the boss, working it down, lock out Allure's abilities except for her A1 ability, and she's going to decrease the turn meter on the Fire Knight on stage 25, not stage 24. So those are the dungeons. That's his first question of this little 5-part question series. The next thing, Ascending Gear Struggle. Guys, I cannot tell you how many times I have people asking me, how can I build a Sand Devils or Phantom Shogun's Grove team? Because I'm having a hard time not progressing there. I'm going to be honest. You shouldn't. You should not build a Sand Devils team or a Phantom Shogun's Grove team if your gear isn't already pretty solid. Let's think about this for a second, okay? You go to Sand Devils. You farm it up. You get plenty of stuff to ascend your gear, assuming you don't have an easy team. If you have Godseeker or Ninja, okay, go ahead and do it. If you have a really easy team, go ahead and build it. However, think about this for a second. If you ascend a piece of gear, defense, all right, let's see how much defense you get fully ascended, 20%. You have... Go back to the account review sheet here. You have 1,200 pieces of gear in your account that are 5-star. Your 5-star piece is not going to ascend to 20% defense. It's going to ascend to like, let's just say 16%. You're spending all your energy or a big portion of your energy farming Sand Devils or Shogun or trying to work to actually do that, when instead you could be farming Dragon hard mode. You could be doing Ice Golem, Fire Knight hard mode, or even Spider hard mode. And I can guarantee you're going to get a far bigger jump going from 5-star piece to a 6-star piece, or a bad rolled 6-star piece to a better rolled 6-star piece. Better benefits from that than you would be from farming Sand Devil or Shogun. Sand Devil and Shogun is very good to farm. It's excellent dungeons to farm, but not if your gear isn't already excellent. Sand Devils and Shoguns take excellent gear, make it even better, or a well-geared account and make it even better. But it doesn't necessarily take bad gear in most situations and make it even better. Now you can get into like the re-rolling and different things like that, but in general, I would not even farm Sand Devils for this account. Not until the ratio of gear is switched, or at least you have consistent, successful, hard mode dungeon teams, honestly. So I wouldn't even worry about that. This is something that you should not be paying attention to unless you had champions you could take up to stage 25, and then yeah, it may become worth it. But even then, you don't want to ascend a potato like ascending a potato piece of gear is kind of useless. You're going to replace that and the ascension very soon. And if anything, it just makes it more complicated because now you're like, okay, well, this pair of crit rate gloves ascended to crit rate, and now it's almost as much crit rate as a 6-star piece of glove. But which one should I actually keep? Well, the 6-star is going to be better. It's got much better substats. Most of the time, it's going to be just better. So honestly, guys, I wouldn't put too much effort into these 2 dungeons. They're good, but they're especially good for later game players who can take more benefit from it. Get your upgrades from over here. This is where your big upgrades are going to come, not just your plus 10 HP or whatever, your 10% HP boost. It's going to be 10% HP boost plus 5 speed plus some crit rate, crit damage, all kinds of stuff. Much, much better. And that gear can ascend later on. So next point. Next thing he's talking about is pushing an arena in 3v3. This can definitely be done. So as far as arena stuff, his fastest champions, as far as his Arbiter, is kind of slow. So his Arbiter's at 231. I would say, back to the whole farming Dragon, farm a lot of Dragon right now. Dragon's going to be very valuable for your account because needing some more speed. But even besides that, I would say, actually, we're going to talk about the gear in just a little bit, but we need to push more speed on Arbiter. I want to see her be 300 plus. 300 plus at his level isn't unheard of. Like, try to make her faster, farm a lot of arena, get your Great Hall worked on. As far as 3v3 goes, I'd say you're doing pretty good there, honestly. You have teams, you're staying in Bronze 4. It's nice to climb, but honestly, right now, I don't think the climb is going to be as much of a payoff as focusing on these other areas are, farming some 3v3 and working on getting your gear situated. So I'd work on that first. I wouldn't try to spread your gear across more champions. Use what you have. It's working pretty well so far. You have champions for 3v3, but at the moment, I'd say your focus should definitely be on the PvE areas of the game that are going to make the PvP even easier once you actually get there. Next up, we have Hydra is bad and he wants it fixed. So Hydra, yeah, we definitely got some things we can work on in Hydra, but this is going to come with like what I said earlier. You're building champions for these other areas of the game that you're going to use in Hydra. Let's go ahead and give an example, okay? We have Mithrala, we have Grazer, we have Michinaki. These 3, very solid champions so far. We have Elva, also excellent champion for Hydra. Now, I'm throwing these champions in here. This does not mean whatsoever that this is actually a team that's going to work well. We have, let's go down here, Ugo, excellent, so block buffs. So we have block buffs, 1 damage dealer, a support. We have a provoke. We have decreased defense. We need a decreased speed AoE, and we actually be pretty decent, honestly. White Dryad Nia could be okay. This team right here, just as like a very, very quick team, this could be solid. We have Hex. We have good support from Mithrala. We have Grazer, who's going to do big damage basically by himself. Michinaki, also going to bring excellent damage. You could use Artak instead. Artak, also fantastic. May even do more damage because AoE HP burn. So Artak's going to do fantastic damage. Elva's going to bring increased speed. White Dryad Nia is going to reset. Do it on manual. Just have her reset Grazer, and then boom, no problem. So Grazer and then Mithrala, Nia resetting. Nia also bringing in a decreased speed on the A1 ability. Put her in retaliation gear. Put her in revenge accessories. Put her with provoke gear. So now you have a provoke, a second provoke alongside Grazer, plus retaliating, plus counterattacking. So overall, just turn off this ability and you're gonna be good. You have decreased defense plus block buffs. You have cleanse plus a res. You have HP burn. You have massive damage just from this champion. So this team could actually be probably pretty good. Do some manual action with Nia, have her reset Grazer every now and then, or Artak, and there you go. You got a definitely 99% certain 1-key hard Hydra, but maybe even pushing brutal. There's definitely some adjustments to be made for Hydra to make it work, but it really just comes down to, honestly, the champions you're using in other areas of the game who are doing like multiple roles, especially when you're limited on resources. Fit those champions into your Hydra if possible. Make it make sense. Most of the time, that's what works very well. I mean, most of the time, those champions like your Mithralas, like your Stag Knights, like your Elvas, champions like that, fit in so many different areas. They're worth investing your best gear into because they're going to be used so many different areas. Obviously, we got Tuhana Rock. We have tons of options here. This is not necessarily the best option. We have Trunda. Once we get Lydia, throw her into a team. Trunda does 1 key, no problem. But this team, just a quick and easy. I plugged it in. Just as an idea, using champions we're kind of already using in other areas of the game. And this team should work. This team should work well. Is it your best? Probably not. And if you're actually going to spend time doing Hydra, it'd be more thought process and more actually dedicated time to it, but just some ideas. So that's as far as the Hydra stuff. Now, next thing, gear selling problems, what to cleanse. So this part is very, very valuable. Honestly, I probably should have done it at the beginning of the video. We're 25 minutes in, almost 30 minutes in. Hopefully you've stuck to this point. Hopefully it's been enjoyable and maybe you've learned something from it. But right now, your gear doesn't need to be cleansed. Your gear needs to be upgraded. You have so much gear that has so much potential. It's not upgraded. Like, check this out. Relentless pieces with speed. Do you have some of those and not been? Look at all this stuff. This could be triple speed rolls, 6-star, just sitting there doing nothing. Triple speed, triple speed, triple speed, triple speed. So much potential in these pieces. Arguably this piece, not so much. Flat HP, flat defense, but this piece probably not so much. But in general, you need to farm Spider for some silver, sell your accessories, sell a bunch of gear that's 5-star, like 5-star rares. Very, very few of those will you keep. Get your Hydra stuff situated. Not your Hydra. Get your Faction War stuff situated. Focus Faction Wars. From Faction Wars, make sure your dungeons are going well also. Move to Hydra. Well, I should do this summary after we do this. So right now, let's go ahead and go through this just a little bit more. But your gear. Defiant, Bolster, and Righteous. This is just the 6-star pieces. Very, very solid. Just 6-star pieces. Very solid potential stuff. Let's take it off of just 6-star. That's 6-star pieces with speed, actually. But look at all this. This right here will take your account from doing where you're at right now to doing hard mode dungeons, everything. Doing maybe even stage 9s and 10s of hard mode dungeons. This is what's holding your account back. Not having these pieces upgraded. Honestly, I wouldn't worry about selling stuff until you get your situation, well, situated with upgrading your stuff. So upgrade your stuff and then go to selling things from there. But to be honest, after you get Lydia, my idea is basically you're going to start moving from the stats in general to more sets match this main stat plus the substats, which is a whole different area to dive into. I really can't give a broad piece of advice in this video because it's really just too much which is involved in it. And I don't want people going and selling stuff on their account because I said, oh yeah, sell the pieces that don't match. I mean, because yeah, it's probably not accurate. However, you could probably sell, let's see, 5-star, rare. I would sell all these 3 pieces. But even these 5-star epics, if it doesn't have speed, you're probably going to sell it. We have 178 with speed. That leaves like 300 and something with no speed. Those 300 are probably going to be very easy sells because the stats they're bringing are easily going to be replaced by 6-star pieces. Now, after that, after you get finished through all that, okay, this is where I think this account should be focused on right now. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So the account's good. It's in a good spot. We just got a few tweaks we need to make, and we're going to be smooth sailing ahead. I think he should be working on getting 200 speed on most of his champions. He should be getting 215% crit damage, ideally on damage dealers. Good damage dealing stats. If it's an HP-based champion, push their HP. If it's an attack-based champion, push their attack. Defense, push their defense. As far as support champions, just a loose idea, but 50,000 HP, 3,000 defense, 200 speed. If they need accuracy, put accuracy on them. That's for your damage dealers as well as your support champions. Focus on Faction Wars. Finish Faction Wars. I know you can do it. Your account is definitely progressed enough to do this, but focus on getting Faction Wars done. You don't need to invest in all your champions to 6-star. Honestly, if it's a support champion, Doom Priest, Rector, they're perfectly fine at 5-star. But if it's a damage dealer, they get a lot more benefit of being 6-star because they need to stay alive as well as do damage. So focus on getting Faction Wars finished. Once you're doing that, or while you're doing that, focus on getting dungeons progressed into those hard mode stages to where now you can farm consistently on hard mode, well, consistently and successfully. No more than 80% success rate. Very, very bad. Don't worry about Sand Devils or Phantom's Grove. It's not worth it. The builds that I mentioned for Faction Wars, the 200 speed, the 50,000 plus HP on supports, the accuracy if you need it, the 215% crit damage, it's going to be the same thing here. Obviously, if you can get higher stats on that, on your champions, go for it. But if not, those are going to be pretty good, loose, rough estimates. Now, once you're doing that stuff, clan boss. Work on getting your clan boss team to 1 key. So pretty easy adjustments you can make is just putting higher blessings, getting brimstone, putting toxic on somebody here, and you're going to be fine. This team is super close as it is. Before you even try to substitute anybody, I think it's going to be a pretty simple way to make that work. But ultimately, I don't think that's a number 1 priority. I think getting Hydra in a good spot makes a ton of sense. We definitely want to be doing hard at least, possibly even brutal. You can do brutal. You definitely can. Hard, It's going to be easier. You have Trunda. She can make it very easy. But get Lydia. Lydia is going to make Trunda situations on Hydra so much better. So we got dungeons first. Sorry, we got faction wars and dungeons, the main priorities. Focus on a core group of champions who you're going to be using in several different areas. From there, move into Hydra and really focus on that. We didn't even talk about Doom Tower. Doom Tower is an area very similar to dungeons. You're going to be building these champions for the dungeons to work well there, and they're also going to work very well in Doom Tower. Start building similar champions. Okay, a Kimptom's and Stun Set. That works great for Doom Tower. You need a ton of wave control. So do that. Bring those champions into Doom Tower. Try to progress through all Doom Tower stuff. You did normal. Excellent. Farm some stages on hard mode especially. But if not, just try to progress through them. You're doing good so far. This is pretty good progress. You've used your keys. Well, it just reset, so you haven't used them today. But either way, Doom Tower definitely needs to be done. But didn't even get into talking about that. So ultimately, this account's in a good spot. Like as far as the champions, the gear, the potential is there. It just needs some more silver, needs some of the lesser quality stuff sold as far as the like the 5-star stuff in general. But to be honest, I wouldn't stress too much about massive gear selling yet. Like sell your obviously bad pieces. Once you get Lydia, you can revisit that and see, okay, this is what I really need to be keeping. This is not. I can really be hard on my gear because I don't need the lesser versions of gear. I can really start selling all my 5-star epic and below, my 5-star less than legendary. So either way, I hope some of you guys found some interesting information from this video. Maybe it helps somebody out. Those are just my ideas. It ran a little bit longer than I expected it to. We're at 33 minutes right now. So I'm gonna hop off of here, go get some drinks because my mouth is getting dry. So hopefully guys, you found something of use from this. Maybe it gave you some help with your account as well. Either way, let me know if you guys like seeing videos like this, because if so, I can definitely do more in the future. And with that said, I'll catch you all in the next video.